All right, I'd like to call to order the Monday, February 19th meeting of the Monona City Council. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Kuhr?
Here.
Alder Holmquist?
Here.
Alder Spate?
Here.
Alder Wood?
Here.
Alder Kitzlar?
Here.
Alder Moore?
Here.
Mayor O'Connor?
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Holy cow.
Yeah, we just have a.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the February 5th meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, correction? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. There are no appearances. There is no public hearing. There's one item on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to unfinished business G1A, consideration of resolution 18-2-2239, approving a bid for the purchase of a street sweeper put forth by the Public Works Committee. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Move approval. Second.
Okay, Mr. Stefani.
Thank you, Mayor. We left off the last meeting, Alder Wood wanted some comparables for the street sweeper purchase of comparables of what's been out there. So I did compile a list, and I believe it was included in your packet for this evening. We also did discuss this at our Public Works Committee meeting on February 7th, and we did receive the recommendation of approval for the purchase from the committee. Is there any additional questions?
Anyone have any questions
I just have a comment.
or comment?
So I really appreciate the work Dan did to put these numbers together, and I think pretty confident that we're getting a good, a reasonable price for the product, but I'd still like to see us bid things in such a way that we will get more than one response, so that I guess the idea would be to not include or items that are not essential to the function of the piece of equipment as requirements. But
Anyone else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 1B, consideration of ordinance number 1-18-695, establishing parking limits on Rose Lawn Avenue, put forth by the Public Works Committee. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Stefani
Thank
again.
you. The Public Works Committee also provided recommendation for approval of this at the February 7th meeting. There are no other changes to the resolution or guidelines for this request.
Any questions, anyone? Comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 1C, consideration of ordinance number 2-18-696, amending Chapter 381-6 of the Code of Ordinances regarding brush collection, again put forth by the Public Works Committee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, anyone? Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. At the February 7th Public Works Committee meeting, the Public Works Committee did recommend approval of the changes to the ordinance. Since then, Attorney Cole has also reviewed and provided comment. There are two changes that we have, one coming out of the Public Works Committee. In paragraph 5, they wanted brush shall be removed from the terrace by the property owner. That was an addition from Public Works. And Attorney Cole added within 48 hours after the scheduled collection. Those were the only changes coming out of Public Works.
Anyone? Alderwood?
So I guess a comment, since we're putting in this new restrictions on the size of the piles, basically, we really need to make sure that we advertise this in every way possible so that people, because it's going to go into effect this spring. Will there be any sort of leeway given this spring, you think, or?
From what I've been told by Barnes, they're not going to be out there measuring, 4 by 4 by 10.
Yeah.
They said that they will give leeway. If it looks close, they're gonna take it. As far as public education, I have a draft 1-page article already written for the newsletter. I do plan on sending material to the Herald Independent for publication in the newspaper, and we'll have information on our website. So those are three formats that we can get the word out there.
Just wondering, and what anybody else thinks, but how about doing a citywide mailing on it, or, yeah. I don't know how much those cost, but.
Or perhaps as an alternative, there might be if there's already some other piece that's going out there, an insert could be put in, then we wouldn't incur the expense of doing a separate mailing.
Could you put something on the water bill? I know that doesn't hit everybody right away, but.
I know there's a certain amount of characters that we can put on the water bill, but I'm sure we could put a small, short 1-sentence as far as an update on the brush collection standards. Check the website or something like that, but we'll have to work with Mark and Michelle and see what we can put on there.
Alder Holmquist?
Wondering about the addition in section 5 about the excess being removed within 48 hours and how that connects with our maintenance ordinance and how long items can be stored. I know this is a tear, so it might be different.
I don't know. Does anyone know? I know there's restrictions on how early you can put it out, but.
Right.
I just looked at the code and I thought it was 10 days for construction materials. I don't know if that includes yard.
Oh, that you can leave it on
Yeah.
To be frank, my only concern is somebody that would prosecute these tickets. I just needed some objective measure. That's why I put that in
Right.
there. I just picked 48 hours as an amount of time I thought was reasonable. I didn't, to be frank, though, try to mesh it with other ordinances. I just thought that was enough time that if it didn't get picked up, to notice it didn't get picked up and to remove it.
Anyone? Alder Moore?
Well, I guess I would wonder, as it relates again to this one sentence, are we prepared to enforce or ticket or somehow, if somebody doesn't remove within 48 hours? Because if we're not prepared to enforce it, then I would say it would not be in our best interest to put it in that specifically into the ordinance. Because it effectively means that we would be breaking our own ordinance by putting it in there and then, for all intents and purposes, ignoring it.
Alder Kitzler?
My only comment was going to be, so the window of pickup time, I think, is 7 days or 5 business days. They usually say, zone 1, you have that week to put it out. So the 48 hours, I'm just thinking to myself, I might leave it out for that full week in case, because my neighbors across the street are in a different zone. So I might just wait it out to see how that goes. So that's my comment for the 48 hours. Maybe we extend it to match that 10-day but I do agree we probably, in order to prosecute it, I understand the enforcing, we probably need some sort of defined timeline.
I think typically the code enforcement person has gone around and issued letters for things like this, so I assume he would continue to be enforcing it. But I agree with with Andrew about the, seems like you should allow them the full week. Because I know sometimes people wonder, oh, did they miss me, or are they not coming till
Right.
the end of the week, or whatever, so.
And I think our first step would be to work with them first rather than tell them we're going to cite them right away. I think we always want to try that first, so.
Alder
In
Holmquist?
section 2, it references that you can put the brush out 14 days prior.
Yep.
So we're really, it seems interesting that we would give a 2-week lead up for a 4-foot by 4-foot pile, but a 48-hour window to get it out of there if they didn't pick it up. I'm concerned with this new language being added in. I understand the reason it's there. I think it's going to be a tough piece for the community to take on this change from I have my whole curb line or the perception of I have my whole curb line down to I have something that's shorter than this table. That's going to be a big enough piece, I think, for us to be able to effectively communicate to the community and get a handle on. So I think the timing, although we want people to remove, the bigger issue is going to be the size of the pile for certain residents.
Alder Crew?
When we were in Public Works, we talked extensively about ways we could notify homeowners if their piles were too large. We talked about essentially maybe doing a hang tag like you do with your garbage. If you have incorrect garbage, a lot of times they'll put something on your cart. So we could essentially get something to put in the mailbox or something to put on the pile of brush saying, your pile's too big or something to that nature. So the person would be notified that they're not within compliance at the size of the pile. At least that was the discussion.
And that would be through Public Works, through the contractor, or through code enforcement?
We would try to work that with the contractor first because they would be on site.
Anyone else?
But-
Alder Wood?
I'd like
Oh.
to make a comment.
Okay, Alder Spade?
And I apologize if I'm repeating something because I couldn't hear some of the alder's comments, but our concern on Public Works was that, we cannot afford to continue to offer unlimited pickup of brush, which is what's been happening. And we did lose our previous brush collector because of this in part. And so my only concern is that I do think we need to be fairly firm. I know we can always be flexible, particularly with a first-time citation, but I think that our ultimate ordinance needs to be fairly punitive because we simply can't afford unlimited brush collection for people that are, taking down entire trees and putting them out by the curb. So that would be my only concern. I don't want us to dumb it down too much.
Alder Wood?
One comment is I think the 48 hours is probably too short. I mean, if we're going to have, I know that we probably aren't going to be writing tickets immediately after 48 hours unless it's a really bad repeat offender. But given, weather and a reasonable opportunity for people to remove it, some longer amount of time, whether it's 7 days or I think that's what you were suggesting, Alder Kitzler, would be better in my mind. My bigger concern with this is, and I understand Alder Spate's comment about what we can afford to do, but I think we're going to see a number of properties where they're not doing, and it's not that they're cutting down trees or doing anything like that, it's that they just have a very heavily wooded lot, and we have lots of those. And they're going to, without, just in the natural way of things, they're gonna have more than that to pick up in the spring in particular, or the fall, so I think we should be prepared to take another look at this and see if this, does this work or not? Or is it, because we don't know how many people that would be. But it might be a not insignificant number, so.
Alder Coor.
We talked about that in our meeting as well, and I would say that we're at a point where we can't pick up regardless of how many trees somebody has. I mean, if you've gotten that many trees, you need to be able to manage your yard, and we can't be the ones that are footing that bill. It's just not possible. Now, when we negotiated this with the brush collection contractor, they offered to pick up additional brush for a fee. And it's possible that they would be able to do that at the same time that they're picking up the 4x4 by 10 foot amount. So those folks that do have additional brush wouldn't necessarily have to go search for a new contractor to get this taken care of, but it wouldn't be on the city's dime then.
Right, and that information is in the draft article of the newsletter. They are free to coordinate for a fee the remainder portion of their pile. They can take it out to the Dane County landfill, the yard waste recycle portion of the landfill. I think up to 500 pounds is $10. So there's a small fee there, or they can contract with any other tree company of their choice. So there are options out there for anything greater than the 4x4 by 10 pile. And we did write that in our draft newsletter.
Anyone else? Does anyone want to change this time limit at all, or?
I'll move to amend it to 7 days.
Second?
Alder Holmquist?
I'm curious why 7 days, and we allow you to put it out 14 days prior to, but only 7 days after. So if you put it out 14 days before the Monday, I suppose it would be 7 from the last day of that pickup week. But
I don't know. I mean, my thought was that, the 14 days gives, I think it's more work to put it out than it is to take it back, basically. And 14 days gives people time to spread that out, have opportunities that coincide with the weather. But I see your point.
Yeah, and similarly, I think exactly to your point, I was thinking, so it's 7 days from the end of the week, so it's kind of the 14-day period.
and you get the bonus of the weekend,
Yeah,
both weekends.
yeah.
Anyone else? They did.
Oh, I second
Somebody
the
seconded
amendment,
it.
yeah.
Kitzler was the second.
I guess I seconded it. So, no other comments? Okay, all in favor
On the amendment?
of the amendment, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
The amendment is accepted. All in any more comments on this? Alder Holmquist.
I have one question, Dan, and it might not matter. When it says 4x4 by 10, the 10 foot in depth, does that have to be a single piece, or since it's not indicated here, could it be made up of 2 5-footers, so double depth, where before we wanted everybody to have all of the limbs at the curb so the contractor didn't have to enter the terrace and trip. And so the way it's written here is you could have double depth, and they would have to then take the first 5 feet and then enter to take the next 5 feet. Would we want them to spread it out? So there might just be some considerations about how this happens.
Yeah, however they want to come up with a 4x4 by 10 pile, whether it's, 4x4 by 5 and you have 2 piles like that, as long as it doesn't exceed the 10 feet or the 6 cubic yards. And again, that's, coming straight from Barnes, they're not going to be out there with tape measures. They're going to be out there, yes, this is acceptable. And they seemed fine with, if it's a little larger, we're going to pick it up. That's what they told me over the phone, so. But 10 feet, so however they come up with 10 feet, it's acceptable.
That might be a helpful add in the communication piece about how this might look different, but really what you're referencing is a pile that equates to roughly 6 cubic yards.
Yep.
So,
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item G1D, consideration of Resolution 18-2-2241, approving a proposal from Barnes Incorporated for brush collection services put forth by the Public Works Committee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Mr. Stefani?
Thank you, Mayor. This is for the proposal, 3-year proposal. The Public Works Committee on February 7th did recommend approval of this proposal. There have been no other changes for the resolution or fiscal note.
Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item G1E, consideration of Resolution 18-2-2242, amending the 2018 operating budget to fund the 2018 curbside brush collection program. Public Works Committee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Stefani?
Thank you, Mayor. This as well did pass at the Public Works Committee meeting. There are no additions to the resolution or the fiscal note for this request either.
Anyone? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item G2, new business. A, consideration of application for 2017-2018 Class B fermented malt beverage license for La Rosita Mexican Buffet LLC, doing business as La Rosita Mexican Buffet, 6001 Monona Drive, Monona, Wisconsin, 53716. Is there a motion to take this out of order?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Does anyone need to present about this, Joan, or are we?
Yeah, I'd like to
Or Doug?
just briefly.
Okay.
Mr. Perez came before license review last week. They were actually seeking a full liquor license. They don't have a beer license at this point. So we had asked them to come back. There was another applicant for a full liquor license, Mr. Bruce Tap House. Both of them are going to come back to our next meeting with more information on the, we gave them a list of the factors that we look at, and they're going to come back with more information on that. We also explained to both of them on the full liquor license issue that there's redevelopment implications potentially for the liquor licenses. We have 2 available. One is expected to go to the Riverfront Development Project. So that's where that stands. But since they did not, La Rosita did not have any liquor license whatsoever, and they had, it was suggested that we could go ahead and approve that for them at this time, as sort of an interim measure, and see how that goes for them.
Anyone, questions? Alder Kitzler?
So we have 2. One is going to Riverfront. Does that include the Bridge Lounge one that we?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 2B, consideration of Resolution 18-2243, establishing a long-range facilities advisory committee, put forth by Mayor O'Connor. Is there a motion to take this out of order?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to
Motion
approve.
passes.
Oops, sorry.
Pardon?
Move to approve.
There a second?
Second.
This, I think, I know you all know that we had approved money, some money to continue, or I guess, update the Braze study, and in our budget discussions last fall. And I had also had planned to establish a committee to just, and basically the resolution states what they're going to do, to evaluate the city facilities, current ones, not the library or the Public Works building, but the other two, and make a plan, a long-term plan for if they either need to be upgraded or if we want to replace them or whatever, but just so we have some sort of a timeline for what we want to do and when we'd like to do it, understanding that this is probably going to be a 8 to 10 year process depending on funding. So this establishes the committee, and then we'll be appointing the majority of the committee members. Be asking you to appoint them later this evening. Any questions? Alder Kitzler?
So just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, so this committee is going to look at all our facilities and recommend a path forward, and then we as a council are going to approve that. And then I guess why I'm asking for that clarification, because I know, for example, the fire department staffing is a committee that's often brought up, and they say, well, that was just filled with all fire department people, so of course they're going to recommend X, Y, Z. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear that whoever's on this is a broad array, and, we're going to prove that later on. And it looks like it, but I just want to confirm that
Right.
it's a broad array, that, we are going to look at this committee seriously, that whatever they recommend, if we approve, that's,
That is my hope.
what we're taking. Okay.
Yes, that's my plan. And I tried in thinking about who should be on the committee, who to ask, to get a wide range of members each with different interests. And some of them have, more of a general background about all of it, so.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Alder Coor?
Are we gonna solicit outside of, or post this kind of opening for the committee in some place, or do?
We've already got
Okay.
the committee pretty well set, so. Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 2C, convene and close session under Wisconsin statute section 19.85, parens 1, parens E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is in regards to the Galway Development Agreement amendment for the riverfront development. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Move to go into closed session?
Second.
Second. Would clerk please call the roll?
Alder Moore,
Here?
Alder Coor,
Yeah.
you're saying aye.
Aye.
Alder Holmquist,
Aye.
Alder Spate,
Aye.
Alder Wood,
Aye.
Alder Kitzler.
All right.
Okay, we're in closed session. We are back in open session. Next, item E, possible action on matters arising from closed session. Specifically, we should word this, Attorney Cole?
Well, the motion we're dealing with the amendment to the Galway Development Agreement that was discussed in closed session, specifically amendment number 1.
Do we need to suspend the rules? New
Yes,
business.
yes, you're right.
I'll move to suspend the rules and take this out of order.
All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the agreement?
I'll move to approve the amendment number 1 to the development agreement.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further comment?
Just one, yes. Just,
Alderwood?
yeah. If anybody, if anybody's uncomfortable voting on this with the short notice we've had, we could, certainly, we could, conduct a special meeting to give people more time if anybody wants to. So just throw that out.
Any
I
other
thought-
comments?
I thought Bill did a good job of explaining it, so.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item H, reports of committees, commissions, boards, et cetera. Alder Kitzler. I'll leave Alder Moore till the end.
No report?
Alderwood?
Well, I mentioned earlier that license review, we had the 2 applicants for full liquor licenses that came in, and we're still in the process with them. Landmarks Commission met after the lengthy discussion of the changes in the landmark ordinance at the Plan Commission. Thorough, I would say. So we met and discussed that, the suggestions of the Plan Commission, and we'll be back in front of Plan Commission, not at the next meeting, probably, perhaps the meeting after that, late March, I think, March 26th. Is it?
Depending on that Senate bill.
Right, there is a Senate bill that was proposed was it Tuesday? Or Monday or Tuesday, and, which would require, for local historic designations, require homeowner or property owner's approval, and basically preempting the local home rule, or not home rule, but local authority on that, and would require at least 50% consent on, for historic districts. So depending on what happens to that legislation, they got a hearing in the Senate Senate committee the next day. I don't know, haven't checked if it's moved beyond that or not. But obviously, if that were to get past this session, then that would sort of that would change what we were proposing. So, sorry for the lengthy report. It's only
Alder
8 o'clock.
Spade?
No report.
Alder Holmquist?
Public safety meeting has been postponed for this month into next month for some upcoming agenda items at that time.
Alder Coor?
I have nothing to report, though I would like to say thank you to my peers for allowing my special guests this evening, bearing with me.
I think you should introduce them.
Yeah.
I'll let them go nameless.
Alder Moore?
Nothing to report.
City Clerk Andrews?
There's an election tomorrow, in case anyone didn't know. Please come. We're all set up for it. One item on the ballot, and it's a Supreme Court Justice with 3 candidates for 1 seat. So we are ready for you. Come on in, 7 a.m. till 8 p.m.
City Administrator Little?
No report.
I will be gone at the next meeting. Alder Wood will be chairing the meeting as council president. And just a reminder to everyone that you all got the spreadsheets with information about who on your committees is up for reappointment. If you could please let Leah know about that, hopefully by the beginning of March, so we can take care of knowing if we need to look for some new people or whatever. I think that's it for me. Is the item remaining is appointments. Appointed to the Long Range Facilities Advisory Committee, effective immediately, Alder Brian Holmquist, Alder Nancy Moore, Dan Eckloff, Rob Call, Josh Peterson, Kathy Thomas, Diane Whipperforth, and there will most likely be 2 additional that I'm still working on, so. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Heather Holmquist?
Oh,
Or,
Kitzler.
I mean, Kitzler.
No, so you and I exchanged some email correspondence, and I think it was helpful for you to kind of explain kind of how you've put this committee together, who you were looking for, et cetera. At least it was helpful
Okay,
for me.
well, I
so.
can do a little bit of that. This was kind of a tough one because we want people who have had some experience in Monona with the history of what's going on with these buildings. And obviously I would like some younger members too. And then I was also trying to look for some people who could add a little bit of expertise about each specific area, like the fire department. Dan Eckloff was on the fire department. He's also a building inspector, however, so he brings that expertise as well. Diane Whipperforth from the community center, or from the senior center. Think I have someone for the park and rec angle, and we're talking about someone from police, and we will be bringing in people from all these various departments as well. But and Josh Peterson is the new facilities committee member, who's also a parent of young kids here in Monona. So that's kind of where I was coming from. And also, this is just the very beginning of this whole process. This isn't talking about the design of buildings or anything like that. It's just strictly a timeline and an attempt to prioritize what we look at first and what comes second, and so we have a good idea of what it's going to cost when and that kind of thing. So,
And just as a point of information about Josh, for those that don't know, beyond being a parent, he's the manager of construction for American Family on a national level, and he's LEED certified.
yeah. So I think we have a pretty broad range of people and different expertise. So is all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And final item, appointment of Mary Ann Litchfield as election inspector from January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2019. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mary
Make
Ann
sure
is
you tell her that I
approved.
made the motion.
I will.
Okay.
I'll be sure.
And finally, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.